welcome to another episode of Northern Hockey Shack Podcast. We have our special guest, Cole Waldie, does PR for the Spruce Kings, played baseball, was with the Chiefs and with the Caribou Cougars, and as always, Ryder and Aiden and Marcus and myself. And then Ryder, we hear you had a big weekend with the Major Bantams.
Major Bantams going 1-1 against the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds, winning 6-0 on Sunday with 07 Cameron Schmidt getting 4 points. A Pee-wee player.
Yeah.
4 points.
Insane.
It's like, this kid's going, I don't care if he's 12, he's going to the show.
You think so?
He's dead.
Do you think he's going to keep
You always see
consistent?
these good players in the show. Like, I'm not saying he will, but in the show, like, they're always playing Pee-wee, playing Bantam when they're in Pee-wee, and playing midget when they're in Bantam. You know, like, they're a step up from everyone.
Why isn't he on your team right now? What's he?
I don't know if I can say this. Got denied. That's all I'll say. We wanted him on the team. I don't know if I should say that, but we wanted him on the team, but wasn't allowed. So.
Oh yeah.
I don't care. It's allowed. Yeah. BC Hockey said no.
Do you think he's only do you think this is his top peak right now, or do you think he'll stay consistent?
He'll stay consistent.
No,
This kid's a monster.
Yeah, he's
Really?
he's insane.
Yeah, he's 4 points in the second ever Bantam game.
Okay.
Okay, and Luis,
Set a weird
tell
tone.
us a little bit about how your week was. I know what you did on Saturday.
Just enjoyed
That was fun.
a few Christmas parties. A Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Had a nice weekend in town.
Yeah.
I don't know. Caught the second game of the Bantams. I watched the first half of it. I don't know. It's fun to
Thoughts on
watch.
Schmidt?
He was like just incredible to watch. Just the amount of skill he has. Like obviously the game's a little bit slower than watching like the Prince George Cougars, but the amount of skill that they possess, it's just fun to watch. There's a few guys on that team that were just awesome.
Poitras.
Yeah.
He's always good.
Yeah.
Okay, Marcus, let's get to you, then start the show.
Yeah, boys. Just moved my sister back from Vancouver yesterday. It was a bit of a gong show, but now I'm back here in PG and ready to get this podcast going.
Struggling taping box is always a tough one.
No, the boxers were ready to go when I was there, so just had to pack him.
Okay, so we'll start it off and just by asking, so what kind of sports did you play when you were younger and like growing up?
Yeah, for the most part, it was just I played a lot of baseball growing up, and I was 4 or 5 when I started. Played a little bit of hockey, nothing crazy like house, tier 1, tier 2. Yeah, no real storied hockey career, but baseball was the kind of way I wanted to go. Played for the Knights for since I was 10 years old.
Yeah,
so
a lot of years.
Yeah, a lot of years. Played with some really good players. Played with Jared Young, who's playing Double-A baseball right now.
Yeah.
Won provincials with him in 2012. Bench was pretty fun that year. Rode it quite a bit, but it was awesome. Baseball was kind of my love growing up, and played a little bit of volleyball too in high school. Grade 10, or grade 8 to grade 12. Played a lot of volleyball, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So
What school did you attend?
DP Todd.
He was a Trojan.
So did you grow
Awesome
up in a
school.
hockey family, or?
Yeah, I mean, they liked it. Like, it wasn't like hockey. Like, my dad was a huge baseball guy. He kind of got me, the way to baseball. And, thankfully did, because I thought it was pretty fun growing up.
So, how did you, get into covering hockey, that year?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So, grade 11, I think it was, Alan Bristow, who used to work for CKPG. I don't know if... Yeah. Good guy. He works for BC Hockey now, actually. So I actually emailed him when he was working at the News saying I wanted to get involved with something and somewhere related in hockey. I'm not sure what it was. Pretty new to it. And first things first, he sends me to the Caribou Cougars, and I guess it was 2013. And just did whatever they needed me to do. I'd set up the stuff before the game. Did PA, did some color for a little bit. It was horrendous at color when I started, but it was a little bit of everything. So that's kind of where I started, and then I did it a little bit the year after, not as much, just with sports and stuff. I was pretty busy, so then I went to play baseball for a year, and then came back after the 1 year. Didn't think it was kind of for me. Wanted to come home. Kind of missed home, to be honest with you. And then, I came back to the Cougars, did color again, and then ended up doing play-by-play and found a love for it.
So when you say doing color, what do you mean by that exactly?
Color commentary. So, for
like giving stats.
Like Ray Ferraro when he was with Gord Miller in the World Juniors.
Oh, okay.
So,
it's
big comparison, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Anyways, So his name was Jeff Sargent. He was the former play-by-play guy there. Actually taught me quite a bit. So, So that's where it started.
Where did your baseball career take you?
Nanaimo for a year. Played again college there at VIU. It was an unreal experience. We didn't regret it for the world. Really good teammates. I talked to still close to probably about half the guys still, so it was a really close group. Got to play in the national final, which was pretty cool. Got a pinch run in the national final, which was kind of funny. But so that's as far as I got. I just play men's league now in the summers, and it's pretty talented guys, but that's pretty much where it took me. So
What was playing in a national final? Like, who was it against?
it was against PBA, so Lethbridge, and their field is unreal. Like, big screen in the outfield.
Wow.
Stands are insane. They have like a porch at the third base side where there's like alcohol being served and stuff. Beer gardens, essentially. Yeah, it was pretty. It was electric, and it sucked to lose. I think we lost 5-3 or 5-4 or something.
That was pinch running.
Pinch running. It was sixth or seventh inning. I didn't have to go back in the game though, so that was kind of nice. Got to just run and then went back to the bench.
Take a seat.
Yeah. So that was kind of my role, to be honest. Like, second half of the year, I actually got a start of the year, then couldn't hit a beach ball if my life depended on it. So ended up just pinch running. So
Just like Luongo couldn't save a beach ball.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'd have to disagree. Okay, well, let's get into your play-by-play then a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what, obviously, we kind of heard about how you got started into the whole business, but what dragged you into play-by-play?
Yeah, well, I was doing color for Cami Kepke, her name is.
I remember her. She was the Cougars, like, the fun person, right?
Like, she did some, like, in-game host stuff and all that. And she worked I think she worked at one of the radio stations. Now she works at CTV in Calgary, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's what
I think
it
she
is.
does. I follow her on Instagram.
There you go. So,
Big time for that.
She hot?
So Cami Kepke, she was the hot Cougars fun person. Me and Aiden always ask her to go on the ice, and so that's a funny little story about that. What can I say? She's good looking.
She never gave us the opportunity we wanted.
One time, actually,
like 10.
Jaden Merritt, who's on the Caribou Cougars, my cousin, I went up to her and asked her, I said, hey, can we go on the ice for this? And she's like, yeah, we just need one person. I was with my cousin. I turned to Jan, I was like, let's go on the ice, let's do this. She's like, no.
No.
And just a big time sewer, eh?
Like, just like our chance. Shot at fame, and my cousin just blows it.
Could have sunk the $1 million shot.
You could be in the NHL now.
Yeah,
Dukes.
so thanks, Jane. Hope you're probably not listening to this, but yeah, thanks. So, continue.
Yeah, I don't know where we were before that.
I started doing color with her.
Oh, yeah.
But then her job took her out of town, I think. Or she went somewhere. I don't know where she went. And then I started doing play-by-play by myself, which is kind of tough. It's okay now, but when you start, it's different. But it's like riding a bike, man. Like, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and then I ended up getting some people to come in and do color. Harjaz Greywall was very good. James Morrison, Mark, you probably knows him. He used to be a goalie coach, Caribou, so he did color. He was really good. So, that's kind of how it started. And then the year after, in 2017, kind of took on not the full media position, but the full play-by-play for the entire year, and it was so fun. Had an absolute hoot that year with all the guys. I remember Josh was like one of my best friends. He's what was he, like a volunteer helping with Pam?
He was
Josh
kind
Albenetti?
Yeah, he was
He's not
kind of
doing
helping
anymore,
out with
but-
Jazz, kind of.
With Jazz, equipment
yeah.
stuff, So it was kind of cool being with him and all that stuff. And the team was awesome. Like, such a cool group to be around. And
Was that with like Jervs,
Pomeroy, Markey,
Yeah,
Zach
I remember
Quickson.
I remember you coming into the rink
Colsey.
and doing like Valentine's specials and asking
Yeah,
us
you
goofy
got to
questions
watch
and
that.
shit.
That was fun. That was super fun. Just stuff like that, and Yeah, I mean that playoffs, pretty dominant hockey team. You know, didn't lose a whole lot. Got to play in Telus Cup. That was such a cool experience. Just being around it and seeing how like Hockey Canada works things, like it's unbelievable. Like when you interview guys, like you can only be in a certain spot at the CN Center. Like usually when you're at CN Center, you go down, walk wherever the heck you want. But Hockey Canada's like, oh, you got to go back to the media section, and then the players. Like this is like midget hockey players.
So
like
you got your own section then.
Yeah, so like for all media, so
Yeah.
any media could come down they'd come in front of this backdrop, and it was crazy. I mean that's how it is. The higher you get, I'm assuming. So
They have it at Bantam now.
yeah,
They had it at our showcase. They were interviewing Bantam players in
Really?
front of one of those.
those backdrops.
Yeah, it's insane.
But like it's interesting. Like when you're on like midget and junior hockey, you can walk around the room and stuff, and
Yeah.
like talk with the guys and bring them out for interviews. But like I think the higher you get, that ain't the case. Like
No.
you got to be in a certain spot to interview. So.
Oh, and what did you do for that tournament? Did you do like any
So you're in
coverage?
the
at
press
all?
box for the Cougars as a play-by-play, Caribou Cougars?
So this is it kind of sucked actually. So for play-by-play, I didn't get to do it because it's a national tournament and you had to have a French broadcaster.
Oh.
So Sprague, myself, Tyler Lippingwell, who was the media director, we were going nuts. I wanted to do it really, really bad. It would have been super cool, but unfortunately not. But luckily enough, 99.3 The Drive did all the Caribou games, so I got to do all the like interviews and stuff, pregame, intermission. I got to interview Mike Sillinger. He's a former NHLer. His kid was playing in Regina, I think it was. So I had to interview him. Like I did a lot of cool things, and yeah. So didn't get to do the full play-by-play, but a bunch of stuff.
Still a cool weekend.
Oh, it was unreal. It was so cool. The crowds were. There was one game. The last game against the Ontario team. Yeah. I felt more electricity in that building than some Cougars games sometimes. Like it was, I guess, like the magnitude of the game and everything.
Well, you guys
was
had to
pretty
win,
intense.
right, to get in or something?
Yeah, it was a tie game.
Yeah.
Had to pull
They
him.
I was there, yeah.
Yeah,
That was really
that was
intense.
insane.
Yeah. No, it was a fun tournament.
Colsey got scratched the game before, came back the next game, scored twice. Man, it was unreal.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, Colsey got scratched, but then as he was scratched, he was like supposed to be taking notes. I think.
Oh, really?
And then he was just fucking.
Healthy
Sitting up-
scratched?
No,
Oh, okay.
I can't remember why, but it was
Yeah.
because he got in shit. But I remember he just got scratched, and then he's supposed to be taking notes, right?
Yeah,
And he's just
I'm
wheeling
assuming he
some
wasn't with
chicks in the
us.
stands.
Yeah, he was in one of the suites, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoying himself.
Just living it up.
So after the TELUS Cup, you go to Nanaimo for school for a year?
No, sorry. So I
Oh,
went.
you came back,
I did
actually.
Nanaimo first,
And
right
then-
after high school.
And then you came back.
Then I came back for
Telescope.
2 or 3 years.
So doing that big event, did that drive you to keep on going, like BCIT? When did you apply for that?
Yeah.
When did you apply for that and thought you were going there?
It's a pretty funny story. So I finished at UNBC. I was sitting with my mom actually in our kitchen, just trying to figure out what course I was going to take for next year. And then it was actually my mom who brought it up. She said, "What BCIT?" I've always everyone said go to BCIT if you really like it. It's a super cool program. Know a bunch of people that went through it. And I was like, oh, I don't know, like we'll see. And then and then and there it happened because there's these courses. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like I don't want to do this for my life. Like this sucks.
Kind of same boat I'm in right now.
Yeah, so I'm like, I want to do this sports media thing, give it a shot, and then probably one of the best, if not the best decision I've ever made, going to BCIT. I learned a whole lot there.
So what was the course that you took? What was it? I guess called.
Same as Fanshawe, radio
No,
broadcasting?
well, Caden's actually in TV. He's in like TV journalism, all that stuff. So I was radio, arts, and entertainment. So yeah, it's super fun. But yeah,
Did you you were play-by-play for the Chiefs? Did you
Yeah.
do that before?
You did it during.
CIC
You did it
during
during
school.
while you were at BCT.
yeah. It was worked out way better than I thought it was. Like it was only weekends. Like first year was obviously new. Like kind of awkward at the start, but yeah, they let me travel. Like so first, like I didn't have a full media role. There's another guy. He works for Coquitlam now. He was their full media director, and he actually traveled on the road with them. And I asked if I could because what am I gonna do on the weekends? Like brand new to town, and ended up doing it. And I just had to find a place to stay every time we would travel. So like we'd go to Nanaimo. So I had a bunch of people who were still playing college there that I knew. So I'd stay with them, have family in Kamloops, have friends in Kelowna.
Oh, so you wouldn't actually stay with the team?
No, not the first year. Second year I did, but first year I had to find ways to.
Oh, because you kind of got into it.
Yeah,
late,
it
I
wasn't really
guess,
in
with
their
the team.
budget, which totally makes sense. Like I kind of
Yeah,
they
like
thought it
they're
should be
a
play by
midget
play.
team.
Yeah, just a midget team. Like it's essentially so. Yeah, but yeah. The BCIT thing was super cool. First year, it's like bookwork, like straight bookwork, and then you have an internship, and then you like do more stuff like on the air, and then your second year, it's all on air. It's unreal. It's super cool.
So what did you get out of that? Like a diploma, essentially?
Diploma, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So what was the situation in your career so far where you've been like the most nervous?
Oh, to be honest, the most nervous is probably interviewing Fred Harvinson, GM, head coach, president of the Penticton Vs. I don't know why. I know he's like a longtime coach in the league, and he wins all the time. And I don't know, it's a pretty prestigious organization. And
Was it a special event or something like that?
no, just pregame interview before a game. We were in Penticton a couple weeks ago. This was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably the most, yeah. That or Mike Sillinger at the Telus Cup, interviewing him. That was, yeah. You feel the heat sometimes when you're asking questions. You don't want to mumble your words or whatever, but just an experience thing. So
Yeah, fair enough.
So do you just like ask, like message those guys over, like you email them, message them? How do you get a hold of those big names?
well, I mean, you have all the availability. If you want to interview someone, you just like usually the relationship with the other broadcasters. They say like we usually both do pregame interviews with coaches. So yeah, someone wanted to interview me or interview their coach, interview them, and we kind of just agree on it. We meet at a time and go down there, and it's pretty straightforward. So
Yeah. So now you're with the Spruce Kings,
Yeah.
correct?
yeah,
And your first junior A, and you're like, what are you doing?
First
for them?
full-time gig, right? Like,
Yeah, well, like
first time in
stu-
junior hockey.
So how'd you get that connection there?
Well, it was in about, I guess, January, February of last year. We actually were coming up for the Winter Classic.
And you're still with the Chiefs, yeah.
I was still at the
yeah,
Chiefs, and I got to have my first meeting with Kyle, and it went really good. And then kind of just kept in touch here and there. I saw him again when the Chiefs were in PG for the playoffs. Yeah, and it kind of went on from there. Talked to him a lot in the summer when I was playing baseball because he's an umpire. He still is, and yeah, I guess the rest is history. It ended up happening, and here we are.
So what's your position with the Spruce Kings?
It's the director of broadcasting and the communications director. So it's obviously all the broadcasting, all the social media and stuff's through me. There's some website stuff that I do as well, and then slowly getting into the sales side of things. We did a little bit in school, but not a whole lot. There's more stuff they focus on in school, so pretty new to it with ticket sales and stuff like that. But it seems to get a little bit better. I'm starting to like it a lot more. It's kind of cool interacting with people. It's nice being familiar with the town, right? So makes it a lot better. So yeah, still a work in progress though. Just trying to talk to as many people as I can and try to get as many people as we can in our building. So.
Yeah.
And you're going on the road with them?
Yep. Yeah, it was Monday today, so we actually leave tomorrow morning. Got 3 games. Coquitlam on Wednesday, Surrey on Friday, and then Langley on Sunday. And then we're done. So
And
we're
like
done for the Christmas.
while you're on the bus, I guess there's a lot of studying going on for those teams, hey? Or
Yeah, well, there's some kids that are in high school, there's some kids that aren't. I mean, cards is a big thing that I've noticed from the kids that are on the bus. They love their cards.
no, for you.
Oh,
like
for me?
studying for you about the
Oh.
other opposing team and stuff like that.
Those kids don't study.
No.
Yeah, what are
No, I
you
was just
talking
say,
about?
not really on the bus. No, I'll do it more when I get
Well,
to the
just in
hotel.
general, yeah.
But I usually like when I can, before a game, I like to maybe skim through the other team's game, their previous game. Like right now, it's our 3rd straight game with Coquitlam, so it's fairly common now with all the players and whatnot. But yeah, usually watching the team is briefly. I'm not going to watch the full game, but just to see how people say players' names and learn from a lot of the veteran broadcasters for sure. But
So could you take us to like a game day for you? Like what time you start, what time you typically finish?
Yeah, what's your pregame?
Like what you do on a typical game day?
Pre-game dump or what?
Yeah, you gotta have a couple of those.
Yeah.
Get a little nervous.
Yeah.
Jitters or what?
No, not really. It kind of differs for home and away games. Home games, it's like I usually get there around 10 o'clock. For a little bit, I watch the morning skate. Not a whole lot, just see what's going on, make sure everything's going good. I usually do a pregame video before the game, so I fire that up, post that. I do all the graphics before the games. I gotta put lineups together, so like the other team will send me their lineup, and then we gotta put it all together in a game insert for the media, and then for the fans, I'll just shovel it in their programs. Interview our coach around 3:50, 4 o'clock. Talk to him. Interviewing players, I usually do it earlier.
Yeah.
I like to be prepared for that.
After the pregame speech.
Day before. I'll do it after practice. Just don't want to really mess anything with their game days.
Yeah.
So do that, and then by the time it's 4 o'clock, I'm setting up my broadcasts, make sure everything's ready for the visiting broadcaster. It's the worst when you go into the rink and something's not ready, so I don't want to be that guy. So make sure everything's ready for them. And then 5 o'clock, 5:30, you're just getting I get my score sheets ready, my lineups ready, just to make sure I color code some things, like a couple little things like that. And then, 6 o'clock, doors open, warm up starts 6:30, and then pregame starts at 6:40, and then the game starts at 7. So
Game time, baby.
What's like? Is there any more extra prep you have to do night before a game, perhaps?
yeah, well, it depends. So to be honest, Friday nights we're on the radio, and intermissions I don't have to do them. I just send it back to the station, which is it's kind of nice for me. It's just a little bit. I don't want to say weight off my shoulders, but I don't have to have as much ready. Like I'll finish my first period, I'll go to break, they'll come back, and I'll do a goal summary, and then I take it back to the guys at the station, and then they just do they'll do an out-of-town scoreboard, talk about the first period. Essentially, what I would do if I'm not on the radio. So we're on Mixler is the app we're on. So usually I like to have as much media and audio clips as I can to fill time, because people don't want to hear my voice all the time, right? They want to hear players or the opposing coaches or whatever it may be. So try to keep it as much content as I can get. I think one of my weaknesses is maybe I don't talk enough during intermissions. There's always 3 or 4 minutes I could probably talk a little bit more. So still kind of working on it.
Fair enough.
What radio station can we listen to your games on?
93.1 CFIS is a community station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's...
So is there people talking back at the radio station for the Spruce Kings game, or are they just play music? Or
No,
commercials?
there's the media timeouts that they'll play commercials, and then
Yeah.
they have a sports talk show an hour before the game.
Okay.
So that's kind of before the game, they'll tee up sports around the world, essentially, and then game starts. I got the pregame at 6:40, and then intermission, that's just them talking with some commercials in between. Sometimes I can send them interviews that they'll play in the intermission if I have something, but so yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the nicest rink you've been in so far this year?
The nicest?
Yeah.
Chilliwack or Penticton.
Penticton's is sweet.
Penticton's good. I think
Penticton's
the best Porsche, though, is Chilliwack, without a doubt. It's right in the middle. Penticton, you're kind of in the corner. You're not kind of, you are in the corner.
Yeah.
So it's an adjustment, but, once the game starts, the more you prep, the more ready you are. It's like anything. But Chilliwack's probably the best one. Our rink's not that bad either, to be honest. I feel when I'm in that rink, it's junior hockey. It feels electric every time, even if it's not full.
The fans feel like they're on the ice.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
like last year when they played Brooks in the Doyle Cup.
Yeah,
and
they're on top of you.
You could hear them, the players are chirping back at the fans in their heads. It's it's a crazy atmosphere.
They get some real Prince George hockey.
I remember when Chilliwack was here. This was 2 years ago when they lost the final to Wenatchee. They were playing Game 7. Chilliwack. This was after PG1, and all the Chilliwack guys were going off the ice, And I've never, like, all these guys are just barking at Chilliwack on their way out, and the Chilliwack
Yeah.
guys are yelling back at them. Like,
Yeah.
it gets pretty intense, but I'm like, man, this is junior hockey. Like, this is what it's about. Like,
It's insane.
the intensity, and you don't get that in many places. A place you will get something like that maybe is Cowichan. They got some pretty electric fans there, too. So
Nice.
So we'll
Worst-
get into things.
Worst fan base.
Yeah,
worst fan base.
Sorry, Brav.
yeah, whatever. Aiden.
Worst fan base in junior A?
Yeah.
Yeah. Call him out. Let's hear it.
No, it's not Merritt. Well, I don't know if you want to call it the worst fan base, but the lowest attendance in the league is Coquitlam.
I was
But-
thinking like rowdiest, like most like Vancouver Riot type thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like as in
Kinda
just
bad.
fucking
Prince
shit
George in the Doyle
disturbers.
Cup last year. That
Yeah.
was pretty fun close.
I was talking. I'm not bashing any team here, but Colton Cousins, he plays on our team. He played in Cowichan. He said when he played, like, the fans were kind of in and out. Like, there wasn't much going on with them. They made the playoffs. Like, all of a sudden, they were diehard fans. Like,
Just some bandwagons.
but that's a lot of junior hockey teams, man. Like,
Well, Prince George Cougars now, like 3
Jays
years ago.
fans?
yeah, 3
Like-
years ago, man. That playoff run, like, it would have been nice if they went farther. I was at every game.
Yeah, me too. I was. Yeah.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it. I was like standing and cheering like a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
kid. Like, it was insane. I
Well,
was
like even
20
with
years
the
old.
even with the Spruce Kings, do you think that was the case? Kind of like because
Well, success always brings in.
Oh,
more
yeah, of
people.
course.
Like it's.
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
of
think-
course because I remember going to watch them in playoffs and it was
Yeah,
packed,
I
and,
went. Me
like,
and Aiden went to all the
I went-
playoff games last year.
And that year, I
That's
went
good.
to a regular season game, and it wasn't like there's no near the amount of people in there as there were playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes it's tough when the Cougars are playing too. Like, there's a big game with the Cougars like, on Saturday. You know, the Cougars have their teddy bear toss, so obviously you're gonna lose a little bit of fans there, right? Which is totally fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's a feature game. Like, we had our feature game on Friday for our drop the glove, sock it to him night. Like, I don't know. It's tough. I
How
don't
did
know.
that?
Honestly,
How did that event turn out? Sorry, Mark.
Yeah.
Ours?
Keep cutting you guys off.
Yeah, yours.
Yeah, it was good. We
Sock
almost
it to
had
him, right,
1,300 fans, which is really good.
Oh yeah.
The seating field set is 1,700, so I'm not sure the exact percentages of that, but it was a good crowd. It would have been nice if we would have won, but I don't know if I should say we or the Spruce King should have won. I don't know if
No, you
Like,
should
should I be
say
saying we?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're-
Yeah.
I would-
you're-
I
Part of the
would-
organization.
Spruce King,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
You're
you're a
wearing
king.
a jacket in here.
yeah. Okay,
You're saying.
You got the swag wrap in here. You
Okay.
know, you're good.
there you go.
So what was that night all about? Like I heard a little bit on the radio, but I didn't know too much about it. It was like you throw toques and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
winter clothing. Essentially, it all went to the St. Vincent de Paul. So, toques, gloves, socks, whatever you have, as long as it's in a plastic bag, you can throw it out and clean it up. The rink's small, so it's so quick to clean up. It took like 3.5 minutes, but there's a lot on the ice, so like it was pretty good. So that's essentially what it was.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
everything goes to the St. Vincent de Paul, and our volunteer room or whatever room it was got full. It was full of stuff, so we sent it off today actually. So
Yeah, which honestly, in my opinion, I find more beneficial to like
I agree.
kids in need than throwing a
Teddy
teddy
bears,
bear out
yeah.
on the
Yeah,
ice.
but teddy bear tosses.
Well, you see it around the league now that
Yeah,
like
tradition.
people are saying that you bring teddy bears, but we also would like
Yeah.
winter clothing. Like that's what
non-perishable food
Cougar.
items too. Like
I think the teddy bear is just for the name, but they all also want
Yeah.
other stuff because it's all going to
As
charity.
long as it's
Yeah.
in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
it
yeah,
doesn't
teams
screw
are
up
adopting
the ice.
more things too. So
Kane Fancho was telling me the Vancouver Giants they didn't have to have bags.
Really?
They said someone called them weird for having a bag.
wow.
So that's
Kind of like all the fabric it's on.
that's what we were saying. So the Vancouver people are kind of a little weird, but not a big deal.
That's squirrely.
Who scored the goal?
Mason Waite, defenseman.
Defenseman.
Yeah, he didn't start. He didn't start here. He's actually got traded from Lloydminster.
Bobcat.
Yeah, Bobcats. He got
yeah.
traded for a guy, and he's been arguably the rest of the best defenseman on the team. One of them. So yeah, he's been good.
Be sure to check out the rest of this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.